Hello everyone, welcome back to the Malbeefance channel. This is turn 45 of our series replay for Strategic Command World War One. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not an oncoming train. The Central Powers are at a point now where I believe that victory is at hand. The UK national morale is down to 19%. And it is my belief that, let me zoom out the map here, the Ottomans are the ones that are going to push them over the edge. Taking Suez, Cairo, and Alexandria is going to be some major blows to UK morale, losing Egypt altogether. And now we have sufficient forces in Cyrenaica to where I can put pressure on the opposite side of Egypt. Whatever UK forces are still in here, beyond what I can see, they're going to be forced to split up, or they're going to be forced to consolidate along this coastline in order to protect themselves. And I believe that that will be enough national morale losses when coupled with the damage that we're doing here in the North Sea. So as one as one viewer put it, the troops will be home by Christmas. I'm hoping. So let's go ahead and advance the turn and see what we get. Conscription leads to industrial unrest in the Midlands. And there's our usual reminder about the North Sea blockade. And Germany develops mobility level 1. Production technology development up to 69% for the current level. Austrians get aerial warfare level 1. That helps with their skill in aerial warfare. Ottoman scientists, fighter development. I don't know why they do that. At 99%, missed by inches. And production technology development, 59%. There's our ledger for next turn. And now calculating supply. The computer is calculating supply for the Entente. And, oh, somebody came out. Awesome. Oh, French armored cruiser. Oh, there's a French dreadnought. Oh, he just took a lot of damage. Hopefully we can finish him off. I was hoping for a British dreadnought. There's at least 2 still out there that I'm aware of. And who knows if the computer built more. Certainly had plenty of time. Alright, so we knew we cut this guy off here. And so he's digging in, but he doesn't have much in the way of supplies. So he stays at half strength. So I'll be able to get him next turn, complete the encirclement of Cairo. And then not next turn, but the turn after, I should be able to take Cairo. I might be able to take it this upcoming turn, I don't know. Have to see what the odds are. So here we are dealing with the air war over the Western Front. So it looks like they're focusing on my point man there. And the usual artillery assault on Liege and Trento. And that's Italian artillery in the south of France. That's a new one on me, seeing Italian forces in France. I'm not sure what the deployment of all of the Entente forces in northern Italy looks like, that the computer feels that it can spare Italian forces for the Western Front. It might have been that the computer was going to try and make the Western Front its ride or die. All right, so we got some forces moving around, moving up. I'm surprised I'm not seeing any infantry attacks this turn, at least not yet. Doesn't look like there's going to be. So this is a couple of turns now where the Entente has just not come back at me with equal strength. Makes me wonder if they're finally cracking. They've finally given up the ghost, as it were. I don't believe so. I mean, there's just too many corps along the front line. All right, so French Foreign Minister reports diplomatic success in Norway, Entente up 6%. And there is reports of our forces blocking Entente convoys on the way to UK. All right, so what do we get for this turn? There's our activity summary, nothing new there. Intelligence finds a French seaplane tender at Le Havre. Cavalry near the Swiss border. Anzac Corps near London. UK artillery out there in Egypt. What is that? Cavalry Corps near Constantine. They're pretty far out there in the desert. I wonder what the heck they're doing out there. Marshal Pétain, or future Marshal Pétain's headquarters. He's still a general in World War I. He's not promoted to field marshal just yet. Okay. All right, so before I get started, I want to point out, in case you missed it, Germany now has mobility level 1, and this discussion about mobility has generated some debate. And there's just something that I wanted to point out. Mobility is expensive. It's depending on what unit you're upgrading with mobility, you're going to wind up getting different costs. So, like, let me show you here. One of my headquarters units, if I wanted to upgrade it with mobility, that's going to cost 69 production points, whereas an infantry unit or an infantry corps is 45, and that's still expensive. Okay, an artillery unit, if I wanted to upgrade it, that's 60. Okay, now you can't give mobility to cavalry units, and then obviously you're not going to give it to air units either. So it's just headquarters, infantry, and artillery. Now, something that was pointed out is that, let me get the research thing up here. If you are really big on using mobility in your strategy, a tactic that was pointed out is that you go ahead and invest in mobility and production technology early on in the game. Okay. What this will wind up doing is the two of them combined reduces the upgrade cost of the units. Okay, and so that's a way that you can help mitigate the cost of mobility on your units. Now, you saw what they were going to cost if I'm going to upgrade a number of infantry corps this turn, but you saw what it cost, and I am at production technology level 2. Okay, so imagine if I had not put anything into production technology. Now, do I agree with the strategy or not? Doesn't matter, because for people, there will be players who will figure out how to make it work. There will be players who will not know how to make it work. So whether or not you think it's a good strategy, it just depends on the player. Okay, I find that mobility has its uses, but it's not it's not the decision maker for me. Okay, it's not my ride or die. On the eastern, or excuse me, on the western front here, having mobility would have been really handy several turns back, making advances under certain circumstances in certain territory, and I didn't have it, and so um, my uh, my front line might be further back than where it could have been by this time if I had gotten mobility sooner. Okay, but I'm not going to. It's water under the bridge, so I'm not going to worry about it. But we got mobility now. I do believe that the initiative is completely on my side at this point in the game, and so I'm just going to roll with it. So enough digressing here. Let's get on with the turn. I'm going to start up here with the Navy. I've got a French light cruiser that I can pick off. All right, so now let's see what we got in port. Nothing down there. And there's a destroyer. So let's get him out of there. Actually, put him back there. Now, he's only got 4 supply left, so I want to get him home. And I want to try and watch out for the naval mines. So now he still has considerable supply. Even though he's taken some damage, he still has considerable supply. So I'm going to hold him out there a little bit longer, let him do some more interdiction for supply convoys going from Norway to the UK. This guy's down on supplies, so let's go ahead and get him rolling back. And he's actually in pretty decent shape as well. So, all right, now this particular formation of mine, I want to show you a little trick that you can do with it. So now I went ahead and I put this little bit of a bend in it, but all of my more valuable units, with the exception of this battle cruiser here, they are covered. Now I could relocate a submarine to go ahead and cover this hole here. The reason that I did this is because I want to get the destroyers out of sight of the coast watchers. I'm trying to give the impression that I'm moving off at least a little so that maybe more naval units will come out. The ships have been up here a turn or two now, and they're not encountering anything. There was that one French dreadnought that came out. He's probably sitting here in this port here. But I need him to come out and not have enough movement points to get back. So, but now I'm probably not going to see him for a couple of turns while he sits there and repairs. So what I can do... Now I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it is raining out here in the North Sea, so that's affecting visibility also. Yep, there he is. Okay, so no damage, but they now know there might be a seaplane carrier still sitting here, so they may come out to investigate, and then my submarines can do some more damage. And if the unit, like that French light cruiser, if the unit doesn't have enough movement points to get back, then the fleet can pounce on him. Now I also need to get more of my submarines back home so that I can upgrade them. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead So those two upgraded submarines, and then eventually this one as well, I'll swing them around and bring them down here in order to help affect British morale. Alright, so moving on to the Western Front. So this artillery is reloaded up to 4. He's at max at 8, and he's at 8, he's at 4. So now one of the things, as I've been looking at this map and looking at the position of my forces, I would like to go ahead and take these 2 hexes. But the thing is, I need to be able, as I've mentioned before, I need to be able to move units in here that are capable of entrenching the same time they move up. And because I do not have mobility, it's going to take 4 movement points for anybody back here in the rear to get up here. These units are going to have to do the attacking. And so because they will attack, they will not be able to entrench, even if they have movement points to come forward. A second line unit's going to have to move up there, and with the artillery, I don't want to say in the way, but, well, they're in the way. So I'm going to need the mobility upgrade in order to be able to make that offensive work. So that doesn't stop me from at least being able to do some damage. So let's go ahead and do that. So send the Zeppelins out to draw out the fighters. Have our little air war. Do some damage to Brussels. Hopefully the Belgians will forgive their ally for bombing their own allies' territory. And now since he's the one that's entrenched, I'll scout him out. And let the anvils rain. Alright, what's that bring him down to? 1 to 6, not bad. Sometimes defensive artillery fire is really great. Sometimes it really doesn't seem like it does anything at all. But like anything else, it's a dice roll. So, and we do not lose any of our troops. Awesome. All right. Now I got to make a decision. Do I want to swap him out with the 10 or do I want to swap him out with the 12? "12 it is. And when he attacks, if he takes damage, I'm going to lose the ability to get him another elite reinforcement that would bring him up to 13 strength. As a matter of fact, he even lost 2. So now he doesn't have enough movement points to move in there. That would cost him 4 to get there. 4 there. 4. 4. See, as expected. So they'll wind up not being able to entrench, and then that exposes them because they fired all of their shots. They may or may not have enough resupply next turn to be able to help defend them. So I'm not going to move into the hexes just yet. I'll go ahead and I'll get these guys upgraded so that next turn I can go ahead and I can do it. Yeah, the computer's most likely going to go ahead and put replacement units here, but they'll just be moving in. Their entrenchment level will be limited. And so at the start of my next turn, both of these artillery units should have 4 shots. And that should be enough to be able to help remove any um, entrenchment the units have in these hexes, and I will be able to advance. Okay, so now he's got all 8. So I want to go ahead, see if we can get all 3 of these hexes. So no response from Entente fighters. So I'll scout him out, and now drop anvils on their heads. Hmm. All right, I got to get him out of there. Oh no, his morale and readiness are in decent shape, so... And he attacked, so let's move him in. And he can entrench. He can go there. Now I know I could have moved him down here and attacked the artillery piece, and then hopefully he would have had enough movement points to move back. But I want to grab all 3 of these hexes. And it'll take him 4 to get there. Well, bummer. Alright, well, he's going to wind up using 4 to get here, so we won't be able to entrench. So... go ahead and attack the artillery. Oh, have him move up. So this way I can reinforce him. I know moving all these troops doesn't allow me to be able to upgrade them to mobility, but that's a good thing because I don't want to spend too much production on doing that. And I know me, I can get pretty carried away with that. Alright, so let's reinforce the guys that I can reinforce. Let's go ahead and do that first, that way I don't forget. Make sure I have the money to do that, or the production points, money, call it what you will. So now let me hide the units here real quick. So what I'm hoping to do, okay, because I got this hex this turn, so now I got 3 hexes on tool, and what I'm hoping to do is to go ahead and take tool next, and eventually I'm going to work my way to Besançon. I do not believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, so basically it's just part of a strategy to go ahead and try and improve my own supply situation. I mean, I'm not going to completely unhinge the French supply network, even if I do take both of these cities, because they've got the interior rail lines helping them resupply. Okay, and then they've got I don't know, like 6, 8 headquarters units back here that are helping. So it's really a matter of improving what they're doing is it's improving my resupply to my frontline units is more of what it's doing than it is unhinging the French supply situation. All right, see if I got a few more units I can upgrade. That's going to bring me down to less than 300, so stop doing that. Let's go over to the Alpine front and see what kind of damage we can do here. Now his morale's really low after all of the attacks he's been taking, even though their defense has been fantastic. As morale drops, so is their defensive skill. So let's go ahead and swap him out of there. Let me see who I want to replace him with. All right. So he has the best supply out of the three of them. Their morale and readiness is comparative, so. All right, so as I mentioned last turn, getting him out of this, out of the mountains and into the town enabled him to get enough supply to where I could go ahead and I could reinforce him. All right, so I think it is time for Venice to change hands. All right, so I've got enough firepower to where I don't need to scout out the hex. So I'm going to use the opportunity to upgrade my Austrian air units. Oh, 0 for 4? Yeah. Awesome. And he does not lose anybody. All right, so that's going to be a big morale hit for the Italians. I really don't want to move the artillery off of the road. But I also would like to get him his elite reinforcements. Oh well. Can't have everything. Alright. That looks like that's going to be it for the Alpine front. And now we have Operation Grey Wolf, the amphibious invasion of Italy. Expand our bridgehead. Now, unfortunately, they cannot entrench. Alright, and it looks like I was right. There's nothing down here defending Sicily. Alright, get my submarines blocking. The UK's one remaining supply line in the Mediterranean. Now he needs to go someplace where I can get him repaired. So we'll go ahead and swap out there. These guys can reinforce. That gets them back up to strength. Alright, so I've got 5. I have a port value of 5 here at Toronto, so I can move transport ships. I can offload transport ships there. So we'll go ahead and start getting the Austrian army over here in mass. I just did that in order to get that hex. Alright, I got one more I can do. Alright. So now the amphib transports for the Austrians are available again, and the Germans as well, but I don't have a German unit actually sitting on the port. So I will send him to help the Alpine front so that he can move onto the port hex. Why can I not up? Because it's the Germans that have mobility, not the Austrians. I'm sitting here trying to upgrade these guys. Alright, let's try a little ASW. Well, it wasn't all bad. We did do some damage to the submarine. So I will count that as a win. Alright, that worked. Alright, my guys that are going to be watching the Romanian border, move them along. Get the next wave moved up. So I am going to need the headquarters over there more than I'm going to need that infantry corps at the moment. Alright, so now down here in Greece. So we've managed to isolate Athens. And I've got an exposed headquarters. Excuse me. Alright, so I need to move up the artillery. Can he move one more? No, he can't. But I can do this. Okay, reinforce these 2 units. Alright, so next turn we should be set for attacking Athens. And I got down into the Peloponnese a little bit easier than I thought I was going to. I was expecting it to be a much greater slogfest. There we go. Keep the cavalry down here just in case. That should do it for the Balkans. Well, actually, let's do this. Yep, I mean, I figured they were still there. Do I want to attack the port? No. Just move him there. This way, no matter, unless they head south, they're going to get spotted if they leave. And I'm going to have the destroyer cover them there. Alright. Back to Africa. Yeah, definitely get him his level 2 weapons. We can cut him off. Awesome. Get the rest of the guys here. There we go. All right, so now that I've got him uh, reinforced, I'll go ahead and see if I can get him to cut off this garrison in El Aguila. And I'm inviting more French troops to come and join this part of the war, so there is a risk, but I'm hoping that France does not have much up here in Algeria, between Algeria and Tunis. I mean, I've seen the computer has done some crazy things in the past where they've gotten a pretty good sized army of French troops in Algeria for reasons I cannot fathom. All right, so now what for me, in my opinion, is the main event is right here, Egypt. So he's got 2 shots. Really doesn't seem like I need to do it. Yeah, 0 for 5. Oh yeah, just wipe him. All right, let him move up. Now let's see what kind of odds we have for Cairo. They really suck. So those are the fighters. Let's see what happens after we scout the place out. Does that improve our chances any? No, it does not. Okay. So with that being the case, oh, you're kidding me. Well, they put up a fight. I'll give them that. All right, move these guys up. And now, can I finish the encirclement? Yes, I can. If the garrison attacks out into his rear, that's just going to help me. All right, so that finishes the encirclement of Cairo, and I've got the artillery moved up. They didn't fire this turn, so they'll have more shots available next turn to drop on Cairo, and we should be able to take the town. We've taken Suez, and so once we've got Cairo, we can move on Alexandria. As it stands, UK national morale is down to 17. We'll see what happens at the start of my next turn, see where we're at. And I do believe that is going to be it for my operational movement. Zoom the map out here and have a look, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I've got to get another regiment in here so I can release that last cavalry unit. All right, so let's go ahead and have a look at research. So the Germans are pretty much on their way to max out on pretty much everything I can actively use. And there's no point in putting any resources into amphibious warfare at this point. I mean, I'd have done that if the plan was to go ahead and invade England. So yeah, all of this is going to max out eventually. Airship development, anti-submarine warfare. Now that's interesting that I really haven't had a need to put in anti-submarine warfare for the high seas fleet. Now in the Mediterranean, yeah, it would have been useful, a little bit, but the computer has not invested in submarines as much as I have. So advanced subs is going to max out. Long range aircraft, fighter development. Okay, so it doesn't look like I really need to do anything for Germany in R&D. Austria only has a few points available. Um, so it's going to have to be anything 65 and below, or I could save it for something, because I want to do command and control and infantry warfare, but I need 200 total for that. So let me go ahead and just save it for now. And so Turkey, again, command and control, but they're maxed out, so there's nothing I can do with them anyway. All right, so move over to production. What do the Turks actually need? I mean, I could always use a few more infantry corps, just so that I've got more flexibility. I mean, I don't need like maybe more than 2 or 3 at max. And Austria's got the maritime bombers coming. They've got more ground attack coming. I think that's ground attack. Let me see. Yeah, that's fighters. Oh no, those are fighters. Okay, so those are 2 squadrons of fighters. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get another bomber, recon bomber on the way. And I really don't. Do I really want to do? Nah, nah. If I buy any more ground troops for Austria-Hungary, I'll make them infantry corps or mountain corps if I have to. Okay, so Germany, what do you got in the pipeline? Okay, so recon bombers, fighters, probably use another fighter. A couple of infantry. I do need the 1 detachment. Send him out there to Poland. And that pretty much does it for anything they've got. Oh, let me get the other seaplane tender on its way. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I mean, it's probably not going to be very effective at this point in the game. I mean, it may not even deploy by the time the game's over, so. But at least it'll be something that'll stop digging at the back of my mind. Okay, so it looks like that's going to be it for this turn. Sorry if I seemed a little distracted this turn. Um, just trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do next. At the same time, I'm trying to narrate. So, all right, so we're all set for this turn. Thanks a lot if you've been following along with the entire series up to this point. I really appreciate you. For those of you that have been asking about Strategic Command American Civil War, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I want to let you know that I came up with something that, well, I think it's kind of neat. I think it's kind of cool that I was going to do for everybody that has been following along all this time, all of you that have subscribed and left comments. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That way I force you to actually watch the American Civil War game. Yes, it is a marketing tactic. I am unapologetic about it. Um, but anyways, that'll do it for this episode. I'm pretty sure it probably ran long, so I'm going to try and do a short one the next time through. Thanks again. As always, like, subscribe, share if you know somebody who likes this kind of content. Help grow the channel. See if we can get 1,000 subscribers by 2040. All right. See you on the next one.